recording. All right. So I want to welcome everybody to this class on natural antibiotics. You may already know some of this information, but hopefully you will find some tidbits and things that can help you to have a strong body to help you as we move into a different season. A lot of people call it cold and flu season. So, you know, whatever season, whenever we go through a seasonal transition, especially if there's weather changes, your body has to go through a balancing act. And this is a type of stress on our body, which will weaken our immune system. And so that's why we often think again of the fall and the winter time as these cold and flu seasons. But honestly, anytime there's any weather changes or seasonal changes, it's important to have these tools at hand. So I'm actually going to stop my video, and that way you can focus on the slides instead of me. So, you know, antibiotics, as you might know, they help to get rid of bacteria and viruses in your body that are causing infections. These antibiotics, are given for many types of infections, from oral infections and skin infections to food poisoning and vaginal infections. Ever since drug-based antibiotics came around in the 1940s, natural antibiotics kind of taken the back seat. Well, until recently, that is. Now that we've come to realize that these drug-based antibiotics have some nasty side effects, the demand for natural antibiotics has exploded. There's a really good book by Stephen Buhner, B-U-H-N-E-R, called Herbal Antibiotics. And that also goes into the drug resistance that our body is developing. So every time you swallow a drug-based antibiotic, you cause significant harm to your digestive system by destroying the healthy bacteria in your gut. And this can result in a weakened immune system, gut-related diseases such as Crohn's, food sensitivities, nutrient deficiencies, chronic inflammation. And it's not like drug-based antibiotics damage the gut for just a few weeks. In the PLOS One journal, PLOS One journal, they published a study that claims that even a short course of antibiotics can cause undesirable changes in the gut microbiome that persist for, get this, up to 4 or more years. So as you can imagine, the damage to your body increases with the amount of antibiotics you take. And I know as a child, as a toddler and a child, I took a lot of them, and I'm still kind of in a recovery stage from that. And this is a huge concern, since prescription antibiotics have become one of the most overprescribed, and I put in quotes in my brain, medicines that we have today. And there's no sign it's slowing down. In fact, data from the CDC indicates that 1 of every 3 patients are given antibiotics when they aren't even needed. And this is from the CDC site. So this behavior is the main reason why antibiotic resistant bacteria, or what they sometimes call superbugs, have developed. And scientists can't figure out how to fight them. the bottom line is that drug-based antibiotics are causing a significant amount of harm, and their overuse is only making things worse. Drug-based antibiotics should only be used as a last resort. Most natural antibiotics, on the other hand, don't cause harm to your digestive system, in a few exceptions. And they certainly aren't overprescribed. Antibiotics, as you might know, are said by the allopathic medical community to help get rid of bacteria and viruses in your body that are causing infections. These antibiotics are given for many types of infections, from, like I said before, the oral infections and skin infections to food poisoning and vaginal infections. While you can go to your doctor and get a prescription, many people are looking for natural remedies. These won't necessarily replace traditional medicine, but can be a good alternative for you to start with. So with natural antibiotics, they help to boost your immune system and improve immune health, which is also going to help you fight off bacteria and infections in your body. And so they can help with things like the common cold, also known as the coronavirus, flu. Honestly, that's why when I first talked about the coronavirus, I went, wait, that's the common cold. I don't understand. So the common cold, flu, strep throat, UTIs and vaginal infections, mouth infections, skin infections, cellulitis, pneumonia, strep throat, and there are so many others. So if you want to fight infection without destroying your health at the same time, here are some of what I consider the top most powerful antibiotics backed by science. So we'll take a look at these different natural antibiotics ranging from herbs and spices to supplements. So the first one, garlic. Garlic isn't just a delicious vegetable to add to your meals. It's also a powerful antibiotic that's been used for thousands of years by cultures around the world. And it turns out these cultures were spot on for using garlic as an antibiotic. Garlic is a type of herb that is used in nearly every country of the world. If it not only helps to season your food, but it provides a long list of health benefits. Garlic is also frequently used to help reduce cardiovascular risks like heart attacks and stroke, and also help with various types of cancers, including colon cancer, prostate cancer, and stomach cancer. And unlike drug-based antibiotics, garlic provides a long list of additional health benefits, including its ability to lower blood pressure, improve cholesterol levels, prevent Alzheimer's disease with antioxidants, boost your athletic performance. There are sulfur compounds that bind to heavy metals like lead or mercury, so they can be excreted from the body. Other conditions garlic can be used for include headaches, stomach aches, cystic fibrosis, osteoarthritis, tick bites, chronic fatigue syndrome, and stomach inflammation. But you probably want to know more about how it helps with natural antibiotics. It's at the top of the list for natural remedies for the cold and flu, but it's also highly beneficial for vaginal infections like yeast infections. It's both used in prevention of these infections as well as helping to treat current infections. There is one study, for example, that found that an active substance in garlic, which is diallyl sulfide, is up to 100 times more effective than antibiotics. And I think that's pretty amazing. Garlic is known to fight a wide range of infections, including bacteria, viruses, fungi, and even parasites. But garlic doesn't just kill infectious microbes, it also bolsters your immune system. Studies have found that eating garlic on a daily basis can reduce the number of colds a person gets by 63% and reduce the duration of cold symptoms by up to 70%. But if you want to use garlic as an antibiotic, there's kind of a big catch. So you have to know how to use it. The primary uses for garlic are internal, for general colds, flu, ear infections, like I said, an immune system booster. Cooking your garlic to add kind of that flavor bomb to your food is perfectly fine. But if you want to use it medicinally, it needs to be raw. That's because when you cook or even dry garlic, you destroy the ingredients that are responsible for its antibiotic effects. So to get oil, that's where the antibiotic goodness is from garlic. So this is what I do. For skin infections, I combine a tablespoon of cold pressed olive oil with a clove of crushed garlic. And I place the garlic in the oil and let it sit for about 30 minutes, then strain it out. And I set it in a cup that's sitting in warm, not hot water. If you want it warmed, you can place a few drops of the oil on that affected area. So it doesn't always matter to me if it's warm or not, especially right now, but I like it warmer during the colder months. And so then I'll put it in a cup of warm water just to produce that heat. And then I put it wherever I need it. And then alternatively, you can dilute a drop of garlic essential oil in a tablespoon of coconut or olive oil. So if you have an ear infection, if you've heard of Dr. Natasha Campbell, it's actually Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. She is a medical doctor. You can use this garlic infused oil I was just talking about to treat ear infections. So you take this oil, and I like to, again, slightly warm it and put a few drops of in the ear that's affected. And this will also help loosen up earwax buildup. Now, if you want to boost your immune system, you want to crush a clove of raw garlic. Crushing is better than chewing, so your breath won't be as bad. And you won't lose any friends with your rancid breath in the process. So you crush this garlic clove and swallow it. And then you're all set. So you have one a day if you can. So it's very important to make sure your garlic is from a safe source. So when you're selecting your garlic at the store, ensure it's organic and that it's not from China, because their regulations aren't very stringent. I kind of use the same guidelines when selecting a garlic oil to use. If you don't want to shop around, I use Dr. Christopher's original formula oil of garlic. All right. Manuka honey. You should also consider using honey to help with boosting your immune system and helping with immune health overall. Well, there are different types of honey that can be used alone or with natural remedies like cinnamon or apple cider vinegar. Manuka honey is typically better. It's better to use as a natural type of antibiotic. This type of honey comes from Australia and New Zealand, where the nectar comes from the Manuka tree that exists in these regions. This honey is frequently used for holistic and natural health purposes, as opposed to being sold for consumption like other types of honey. It's known for killing various viruses and infections, particularly any type of flesh-eating bacteria. Manuka honey is one of the most unique and beneficial forms of honey on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. It's It's kind of like honey on steroids. Among its other health benefits, Manuka honey has a powerful infection-fighting punch. Unlike normal raw honey, Manuka honey is made from bees that pollinate the Manuka bush. The result is a honey that's rich in naturally occurring hydrogen peroxide, methylglyoxal, and dihydroxyacetone. So you have this trifecta of substances, which is responsible for the potent antimicrobial properties of Manuka honey. Studies have even found that Manuka honey can kill off staph infections like MRSA, which is an antibiotic-resistant superbug. Most drug-based antibiotics, on the other hand, are completely useless for treating MRSA. So the primary use for Manuka honey is skin or oral infections. It helps fight bacteria that causes plaque. And again, a general immune booster. Manuka honey is primarily used topically on the skin. But since it's honey, you can also eat it to give your immune system a boost. It's the most delicious way to fight infection. So for skin infections, just take a small dab and lather the honey on the infected area and then cover it with gauze or a Band-Aid. For that internal immune boost, if you notice people around you are getting sick, or maybe you recently caught a cold, you can take a teaspoon 1 to 2 times a day. This can help prevent you from getting sick in the first place, or reduce the duration of your illness. I like to combine Manuka honey with ginger and cinnamon to make it even more powerful. I just wouldn't suggest eating it every day for long periods of time, since it would, first of all, get expensive. Manuka honey is more medicine than food, so treat it like something that you would put in your medicine cabinet. So like any supplements out there, the range of quality is massive. And since it's really expensive, you want it to work, right? So I really dug deep into the research to find a high quality and high potency Manuka honey. And so the brand I finally decided to use it's called Manuka Health, and it's out of New Zealand. So the warning would be avoid getting the cheaper Manuka honey brands with the lower, what they call a UMF rating. That would be a complete waste of money. And also, don't use it while you're immune compromised unless it's medical grade. So, do you have any questions, Sandy?
Let me see. This is very, very good. Excellent. Yeah. Let's see. You said Dr. Christopher's original garlic oil. Is that what's called?
Yeah, it's oil of garlic. Yeah.
Oil of, not garlic oil. Oil of garlic.
Oil of garlic. Yep.
Okay. And then the other thing is with the garlic, you said, I just forgot the word. You said for ear infections, and what do you call cleaning the ear when it has stuff in it?
The buildup of the earwax.
Oh, earwax. Yeah. Cleaning earwax.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And then Manuka honey.
Yeah.
That particular brand. Yeah, I've never tried it. I know it's very expensive. So do you think it's the same as regular honey as far as our blood sugar? It would be high blood sugar?
Right. So when I've tested it on myself, it did not go up substantially. Oh. And again, it's not something I'm going to use every day. It's right. For medicinal purposes. I use it more topically than I do internally, but okay. It's like if I had a daughter who had cold sores in her mouth, and so I made a solution with the Manuka honey and apple cider vinegar and cranberry juice, and she swooshed that around a few times a day. And
did she swallow it?
And then she swallowed it. Yeah.
So honey, cranberry juice, and
apple
what
cider,
else?
apple
Oh,
cider
yeah.
vinegar, and then some
Yeah.
water. She needed to dilute it, and it was warm water. Um, but so it's
Oh, that
really
sounds
good.
good.
Yeah, because it also helps reduce some of the plaque that's in there.
Oh,
And then if you put some cinnamon in there, that can also help with the blood sugar modulation.
yeah, right.
It also makes it taste a little better.
So could you do that with the honey and the cranberry juice and ACV, put cinnamon in it?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, I'm really glad you mentioned parasites for garlic
Yeah,
because I know that is true.
yes.
I couldn't eat turmeric and ginger for a long time.
Yeah.
And what Barbara told me, nobody else had come up with this. She said it's because you were killing too many bugs
Yeah.
at one time. And so then, I'd have all this stomach pain and everything. But it's really great. Now I can eat it. But what I was going to say is I know people who can't eat garlic, and I
Yeah,
can
and
bet you.
I have to avoid it. There are people who have,
Well, I really believe that's because the parasites are killing it, killing things too fast.
well,
The garlic is killing the parasites.
yeah, I know in my research, people who have things like lupus, their immune system kind of works backwards. And so things that we normally think of as what you should do for immune system, actually it triggers it the other way. And I have no doubt it has to do with the microbiome flora, which is affected by things like parasites.
Yeah, right.
So
Good. Okay,
yeah,
that was everything so far. This is great.
thank you. All righty. All right, I'll go forward.
Yeah.
So the next one is echinacea. So what should you take for a cold? You often hear people say that echinacea is a good herbal remedy to relieve the symptoms. So next up on the list of natural antibiotics is echinacea. You have most likely heard of echinacea before, as it's a powerful and natural herb that's often used as a natural remedy. Native American and traditional healers have used echinacea for hundreds of years to treat infections and wounds. Researchers are just beginning to understand why. Since the common cold is a viral infection, antibiotics have no effect on it. What's interesting about echinacea is there have been studies suggesting that it might be antibacterial and also be a natural antiviral. Echinacea, which is actually a type of daisy, is one of the most extensively studied herbs. PubMed shows over 1,000 entries for it. And if you filter those to just clinical trials, you get 83. So regarding its potential as a natural antiviral supplement, the most interesting clinical trial is from 2012, simply due to the sheer size of it. The goal was to see if it might help cold prevention. It was conducted by Cardiff University. 755 healthy people were given an echinacea supplement or a placebo to take for a 4-month period. So the researchers claimed that echinacea reduced the total number of cold episodes, accumulated episode days within the group, and painkiller medicated episodes. So the difference was said to be a 20% shorter duration of illness, and recurrent colds were cut by 59% in the study. A study published in the Journal of Biomedicine and Biotechnology reports that extracts of Echinacea purpurea can kill many different kinds of bacteria, including Streptococcus pyogenes. Streptococcus pyogenes is responsible for strep throat. It's also responsible for toxic shock syndrome and the flesh-eating disease known as necrotizing fasciitis. So how do you use echinacea? The primary use, it's beneficial in the acute stages of colds and flus. Echinacea is widely used for the treatment and prevention of upper respiratory tract infections. And to be effective, echinacea root must be taken at high dosage and frequency as soon as symptoms begin to appear. It may also be more effective when used in conjunction with other immune supportive herbs, such as black elderberry, ginger root, and Andrographis paniculata. To be effective, echinacea root must be taken at high dosage and frequency as soon as symptoms begin to appear. So for colds and flus, you have the aerial portion of echinacea, the part that grows above the ground. That's best taken to stimulate and strengthen the immune system throughout the cold and flu season for those who find that they continually get sick. Echinacea in this form is thought to enhance the immune system and should be taken long-term at a lower dosage. For bacterial infections, echinacea may also fight inflammation associated with bacterial infection. So for this reason, professional herbalists may recommend echinacea to treat urinary tract infections or vaginal yeast, candida infections, also ear infections. Ear infections are also known as otitis media. I think maybe that's what you were also asking about, Sandy, what the name of it. Echinacea is also helpful with
I was asking about the
the
wax.
wax. Okay. And then
Because that's what Nick has.
Nick has earwax. Yeah, so maybe periodically doing this might be helpful. Echinacea is also good for athlete's foot, sinusitis, hay fever. Hay fever is also called allergic rhinitis, as well as any slow healing wounds you might have. Echinacea can also help to destroy MRSA and staph infections. So if you have any wounds, in addition to being an antibiotic, echinacea can also help with blood poisoning and open wounds, which is what it was originally used for. So taking echinacea on a regular basis over time can also increase your immunity by giving your immune system a nice long-lasting boost. So where do you get echinacea? You can take a supplement each day. You can add the dried herbs to your tea, or you can buy echinacea in tea bags to make it easier. There's also liquid extracts of the herb if that's easier for you. Herb Farm is a good choice for the liquid, and Mountain Rose Herbs carries the dried herb for tea. Fresh, if you have echinacea that grows around you, fresh pressed juice of the echinacea aerial parts. So again, that's everything that's growing above the ground. It's also best taken with other immune stimulating herbs that are also rich in immune polysaccharides, such as Astragalus membranaceous root, larch gum, and maitake mushroom extract. You may be able to find echinacea in your garden, which is what I do. Now, there is a warning. If echinacea is taken long-term, it may overstimulate the immune system and result in a negative immune effect. Therefore, it may be advisable if you have like an autoimmune disease to avoid it for long-term use. Again, because of this immune stimulating botanical, such as any other ones like this, like echinacea, unless it's taken under the supervision of a qualified integrative health practitioner and herbalist. Turmeric. If you've been looking for natural remedies, you have probably come across turmeric. This is quickly becoming the most popular holistic remedy for everything from stomach upset to helping with infections and just about everything in between. While it's often called an herb, turmeric is actually a spice. It's in the same category as curry, and it's frequently used in spicy Indian dishes. So aside from being used for cooking, it also has a lot of amazing health benefits. Turmeric, apart from being one of the most essential culinary spices, is also loaded with great therapeutic properties that make it ideal for natural healing and treatment. Fundamentally, turmeric has antibacterial properties, thus helps to fight infection. So whether it's used for internal consumption or topical application, turmeric is highly useful and safe. Furthermore, turmeric contains polyphenol, also known as curcumin, which is one of its primary ingredients. Curcumin provides turmeric with vital properties, such as being anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic, and anti-inflammatory. It's native to India and as well as Southeast Asia. It's also known as Indian saffron and belongs to the Zingiberaceae family. Its goodness is basically preserved in the roots of the turmeric plant, and the same is used for all its medicinal purposes. If you ever decide to grow it, it actually has a lovely flower, but it's the root that you want. Turmeric often offers an excellent natural way of treating conditions like providing relief from mild joint pains and inflammation, providing relief from indigestion and gastrointestinal ailments, pardon me, acting as a natural antiseptic to treat burns, cuts, and infections, helping to boost the immune system, promoting liver health due to its detox properties, helping to lose weight, also helping to control the attack of diabetes, fighting pimples, acne, wrinkles, and pigmentation. So as an antibiotic, turmeric helps in a number of different ways. First of all, it can be helpful with infections that lead to ulcers in your stomach. Turmeric can actually help with gastric distress that would otherwise be caused by types of infections. It also helps with other illnesses, including allergic rhinitis, hay fever, and other forms of allergies. If you want to use turmeric as a natural antibiotic, aim for extracts between 400 and 600 milligrams. So how do you use turmeric? Because curcumin and other chemicals in turmeric might decrease swelling, it's often used to treat conditions that involve pain and inflammation. So hay fever, taking turmeric by mouth seems to reduce hay fever symptoms such as sneezing, itching, runny nose, and congestion. Depression, most research shows that taking curcumin, a chemical found in turmeric, by mouth reduces depression symptoms in people already using an antidepressant. High levels of cholesterol or other fats, lipids in the blood, which is hyperlipidemia. When you take turmeric by mouth, it seems to lower levels of blood fats, also called triglycerides. But the effects of turmeric on cholesterol levels they're conflicting. Also, there are many different turmeric products available, so it's not known which ones work best for your cholesterol and triglycerides. The buildup of fat in the livers of people who drink little or no alcohol, which is called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. When you take turmeric extract by mouth, it reduces markers of liver injury in people who have this condition. It also seems to help prevent the buildup of more fat in the liver. Taking turmeric extracts alone or with other herbal ingredients can reduce pain and improve function in people with knee osteoarthritis. turmeric might work about as well as ibuprofen for reducing pain, but it doesn't seem to work as well as maybe another drug called diclofenac. Itching, if you take turmeric by mouth, it might reduce itching that's caused by various conditions. I know I've been adding turmeric to my juices because we were dealing with these fleas and I had a lot of itching, and that really helped. So where do you get turmeric? If you want to use turmeric as a natural antibiotic, you want to aim, like I said, for extracts between 400 and 600 grams. The one I like, it's called Super Pure Turmeric by Pure Synergy, and I find that's a good one. There are many ways to use turmeric as an antibiotic. You could simply make a tea out of it by mixing a half a teaspoon of turmeric in hot water. For infections on the skin, you can make a paste of turmeric, the powdered turmeric, and apply on the area that needs it. However, the most popular remedy with turmeric, probably since ages and ancient times, has been the golden honey blend. So all that's needed to do is to mix a tablespoon of turmeric powder to about 100 grams of organic honey. And then you can add a quarter teaspoon of black pepper powder and make a mixture. Then you can take your organic milk, nut milk, or plant-based milk or animal milk or tea, and can also be added to use to this mixture. And then this mixture is then, you can store just that paste itself in just kind of a clean, tight container. And then when there's an early symptom of a cold or flu, having this mixture will give you fast results. There is a warning here. This should be avoided for treatment of gallbladder disease, as it causes contraction of gallbladder muscles. It also has a blood thinning effect, so it should be avoided if blood thinning medication is one you use. Oregano oil. There are multiple herbs that can provide health benefits, like working as an antibiotic, including oregano. So like turmeric, oregano is traditionally used as a way to flavor food, like putting it in your pasta sauce. But this is definitely not its only use. However, when using as an antibiotic, you aren't using the actual leaves of the herb, but an extract of oregano oil. In fact, it's a distilled extract of medicinal grade oregano. So it's like Manuka honey. It's more medicine than food. Oregano oil contains two potent compounds called carvacrol and thymol. Both of these can fight off an impressive range of pathogens, which are these harmful microbes. Carvacrol, for example, is extensively studied for its antimicrobial effects. Over 1,000 studies have indicated that it can fight bacterial infections, fungal infections like thrush, which is caused by candida, viruses, parasites, allergies, and inflammation. The point is, oregano oil is one of the most powerful natural antibiotics on the planet. Countless people have successfully treated foot and nail fungus, sinus infections, yeast infections, and even MRSA with oregano oil. One thing to note is that for natural antibiotic, you need to choose the species of oregano carefully. You typically want to use oil from wild oregano, which you can find at most health or holistic shops. There are some really high quality strains of oregano oil from this type of oregano, which may be anything from a golden yellow to a much darker yellow in color. So how do you use it? For skin infections, foot and nail and fungus and skin infection, and sinus infection, sorry. The way you use oregano oil will largely depend on what kind of infection you're dealing with. So for foot or nail fungus, you want to put a few teaspoons of oregano oil in a tub of water and soak your feet in it. You can also dilute the oil by combining a drop of oregano oil with a teaspoon of coconut or cold pressed olive oil. And from here, you can apply it to your nails or your skin. If you have a sinus infection, put a few drops of oil into a big pot of steaming water and inhale the steam. You want to be careful it's not too hot, the steam. Alternatively, you can use a neti pot. Just use one small drop, which works great when you're too stuffy to breathe in steam. If you have an oral infection like thrush, dilute a drop of oregano oil with a teaspoon of cold pressed coconut oil and swish for a few minutes and then rinse it out. So, and you can repeat that like 3 or 4 times a day. So where do you get it? Due to possible pesticide contamination, I always suggest going organic. It's also important to use the right oregano species. There are over 40 different species of oregano, and not all of them will have the medicinal effect you're looking for. You typically want to use oil, like I said, from wild oregano. There are some really high quality strains of oregano oil from this type of oregano. The 2 most effective species are Oreganum vulgare and Thymus capitatus. So the supplement should contain one of these species to get the best results. That being said, the best oregano oil brand I find is from Plant Therapy. So my warning for oregano oil is don't use it internally. It's really powerful stuff, so can actually kill off some of the beneficial bacteria in your gut. So, you know, you can swish it in your mouth, but spit it out. Colloidal silver. The next natural remedy that is often used as a holistic type of antibiotic is colloidal silver. This is one of the less common ones, but it definitely is something you should know about. Colloidal silver has actually been used for hundreds of years, and it was first discovered, for this use in the early 1900s. Silver is one of the most useful, versatile, safe, and effective antibiotic substances known to medical science. When it's administered in the colloidal form, which is at around 10 parts per million, it's for all practical purposes non-toxic. But that's an important thing to remember. It's 10 parts per million. Although the exact mechanism for the proven antimicrobial effects of silver is unknown, the most accepted theory is that silver disables the specific enzyme that many forms of bacteria, viruses, and fungi utilize for their metabolism. Silver is not a heavy metal, and so it's not toxic. When properly made with nano-sized particles, the body will excrete the silver. It does not build up. Again, this has to do with the type you get. More recent research also validates the strength of colloidal silver. There was a study published in the journal Current Science in 2006 that discovered that when antibiotic drugs that had become ineffective in treating drug-resistant pathogens, they were combined with a pure silver solution, they regained their potency. Okay. A 2007 study published in the Journal of Colloids Surface B Biointerfaces found that even using colloidal silver alone knocked out MRSA, as well as Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which is another deadly superbug. As an antibiotic, colloidal silver helps with SARS, bird flu, MRSA, and many other types of infections. Not only is it pure colloidal silver, an effective agent against powerful superbugs, but scientists have also proven it to be useful against these following things: acne, AIDS, allergies, boils, burns, indigestion, ringworm, yeast infections, athlete's foots, warts, Lyme disease, pneumonia, vaginal infections, herpes and the vaginal warts, stomach ulcers, cholera, sinus infections, and tonsillitis. So here are a few ways you can use colloidal silver at home. You can spray it on your burns to prevent infection and speed the healing without scarring. You can take a small amount daily to boost your immune system. You can put a few drops in ears to prevent infection. You can apply it topically to ease symptoms of yeast infection. It speeds the healing of herpes, warts, or ringworm by dabbing a little on the affected area. If you have a pet, speak to your veterinarian about how it can also help your pets. So I keep Sovereign Silver in my house. Sovereign Silver Bioactive Silver Hydrosol may be your most effective tool to maintain, sustain, and support your immune system in just this environment that's just challenging and changing all the time. It's tasteless, safe, pure, and effective. The warning is, if you do not take the right colloidal silver, the biggest risk associated with chronic exposure to colloidal silver is argyria. Argyria is a condition that turns the skin kind of a blue-gray color due to a buildup of silver metal particles in the body and skin. Silver deposits can also occur in the intestines, liver, kidneys, and other organs. Pardon me. Ginger. Ginger is another promising natural antibiotic and another natural remedy for illnesses and infections. It also happens to be at the top of the list for many different ailments and health problems. Ginger is a type of plant that has a plethora of health benefits. That's because ginger contains natural compounds that can fight infections, soothe digestive issues and discomfort, relieve nausea, reduce inflammation, and increases stomach acid to calm digestion after a meal. These properties are the reason why raw ginger is always served with raw foods like sushi. It helps prevent foodborne illness. While it is often used to flavor various dishes and often served on the side of sushi and other seafood, it can also be used as a natural antibiotic. In terms of antibiotics, ginger helps the most with foodborne pathogens. This includes Listeria, Salmonella, and any other related conditions. This makes sense since ginger is often used to ease stomach aches and abdominal discomfort, helping with indigestion and increasing stomach acid production. So if you've just eaten something that immediately makes you feel ill, having fresh ginger can help settle your stomach and help to prevent or reduce food poisoning. You can also make a tonic with ginger, garlic, and cayenne pepper. 2 more ingredients that are good for battling illnesses and infections in a more natural way. So with ginger, you can use it in a variety of different ways, but the best includes making ginger tea or using the actual ginger root. Like garlic, ginger should be raw if you want to get the antibiotic effects from it. But it's not known if ginger is as effective compared to other natural antibiotics. I mention this because it hasn't been well studied. In other words, we know ginger is an effective antibiotic. We just don't know how effective it is against a broad spectrum of pathogens. So how do you use it? You use in combination with other natural antibiotics to increase effectiveness. That's you want to use it for general immune and health boosting. Since there aren't many studies on ginger, I prefer to use ginger in combination with other antibiotics, natural antibiotics, to get better results. For example, I will use my raw manuka honey with raw ginger and cinnamon to fight the flu. The added ginger really helps since it can alleviate nausea that comes with the flu. Plus, raw ginger, it's just rugged if you try to eat it by itself. So I like to combine it with other things to make it taste better. Ginger is for internal use only. I don't suggest using ginger extracts or anything like that on the skin because it can actually cause irritation. So where do you get it? This one is kind of straightforward. You get organic ginger at the store. And then from here, you can freeze any excess ginger you have. So when you're feeling run down, just grate it using your metal grater. Then you can add the raw ginger to your salad dressings, any Asian inspired dishes you might have, or anything else you think it may be good in. But remember, it should be raw or only very briefly cooked. And alternatively, you can get the antibiotic benefits of ginger with ginger extract pills. I like New Chapter's Ginger Supplement Force, or you can get the ginger candy if I use that with my kids or my grandkids. Let's see here. Apple cider vinegar. So if you're accustomed to looking up natural health remedies, then you're probably no stranger to apple cider vinegar. This is something many people turn to on a daily basis for many different health benefits, along with coconut oil, ginger, and garlic. Apple cider vinegar can help with everything from whitening your teeth to helping with indigestion. Apple cider vinegar is an acidic, sour-tasting substance made from fermented apples. Crushed apples, water, and yeast sit at room temperature for at least 30 days. During this time, the yeast turns the sugars from the apples into alcohol. Bacteria then turn the alcohol into vinegar. Apple cider vinegar may also have antibacterial properties. As a natural antibiotic, apple cider vinegar helps by providing probiotics, enzymes, acetic acid, and potassium. These all help with fighting off bad bacteria in your body, while also encouraging the growth of good bacteria. You can quickly get rid of the bad bacteria that would have otherwise caused infections or various other illnesses. One test tube study found that apple cider vinegar was effective at killing Escherichia coli or E. coli and Staphylococcus aureus, which is the bacteria responsible for staph infections. Another test tube study found apple cider vinegar was as effective as 5% sodium hypochlorite at killing Enterococcus faecalis. This bacteria occurs naturally in the bowel and gut of healthy humans, but it can cause serious infections. Some research suggests that apple cider vinegar may have potential as an antifungal treatment. One report describes a man with type 2 diabetes who had a persistent fungal infection in his mouth due to candida. The individual applied cider vinegar to his mouth twice a day for 7 days. After treatment, there was a 94% reduction of the fungal count affecting his mouth. So how do you use apple cider vinegar? So here are just some ways that you can use apple cider vinegar for natural health. If you're trying to lower your blood sugar, some small studies suggest that consuming apple cider vinegar may help improve your blood sugar control. A study on 8 people found that those who consumed vinegar before eating a meal had lower insulin and triglyceride levels after the meal than those who had a placebo. The vinegar contained 6% acetic acid, which is similar to the amount in most apple cider vinegar. All the participants had impaired glucose tolerance or higher than normal blood sugar levels. If you want to lower your total cholesterol and triglycerides, some evidence suggests that taking apple cider vinegar could help lower both total cholesterol and triglycerides. A 12-week study investigated the effects of taking apple cider vinegar in people on a low-calorie diet. The researchers found that participants who took apple cider vinegar not only lost more weight than those who took a placebo, but also had lower triglyceride and total cholesterol. The people who took apple cider vinegar also had significantly raised levels of the high density lipoprotein cholesterol, which is the happy cholesterol, the one you want. Doctors sometimes refer to HDL cholesterol as the good cholesterol because it can help lower the risk of heart problems. A few small studies suggest that apple cider vinegar may help with weight loss. For example, one study found that people who consumed apple cider vinegar along with a low-calorie diet lost more weight than those who followed the diet alone. After 12 weeks of consuming 30 milliliters of apple cider vinegar each day, participants had lower body mass index and less belly fat, and reported a smaller appetite than those who did not take the vinegar. Many people use apple cider vinegar as a hair rinse to help improve shine and smoothness. While no studies have confirmed these benefits, the acidic nature of vinegar may lend itself to hair use. One review suggests that the acidic nature of vinegar, the alkaline hair products may cause hair to become damaged and frizzy. So applying apple cider vinegar with its acidic properties may improve the condition or appearance of hair. Some people use apple cider vinegar as a skin toner or acne treatment, but there are no scientific studies to support these uses. So when using apple cider vinegar on the skin, apply it using a cotton ball and allow it to dry. Do not keep it on the skin with compresses, and apply it no more than once a day. You can get apple cider vinegar in a bottle just about everywhere, including the grocery store and drugstore. You can drink it straight or dilute it by adding it to water or making a tonic with other ingredients. I use Bragg's apple cider vinegar. So try mixing 1 teaspoon of vinegar with at least 8 ounces or a glass of water. Take it no more than once a day. People who find the taste unpleasant may wish to dilute it. I also like to add in a tablespoon of lemon juice and a 1/4 cup of cranberry juice. The warning for this is because it is acidic. Regularly consuming undiluted apple cider vinegar by mouth can weaken your tooth enamel. The acid in apple cider vinegar can also be irritating or damaging to the throat when taken frequently. It should come as no surprise that coconut oil is on this list. Coconut oil has been used for many different natural health remedies, from helping with beauty and hair health to whitening your teeth. It also happens to have both antioxidants and antimicrobial properties, making it an excellent natural antibiotic. Coconut oil was recognized in Ayurvedic medicine for over 4,000 years as a healthy oil used in medicine. Its health effects were said to be similar to that of mother's milk due to their lipid content. Experts have found that coconut oil contains a substance with healing powers that act as a natural antibiotic and boosts immunity. The antimicrobial mechanism in coconut oil also helps to activate the anti-inflammatory components of the body's immune response. This finding is supported by studies done in animals and humans. The coconut tree is often called the tree of life because each part of it is useful. From its fruit to the trunk and leaves, anyone can make products out of them. Its fruit, the coconut, is called the super seed because of its applications in cooking oil, food ingredient, natural treatment for hair and skin, and medication. According to Ayurveda, coconut oil nourishes the body and gives it strength. In its various forms, it can promote luxurious hair growth, provide skin and hair treatment, and act as an antimicrobial agent. There are two types of coconut oil: refined, bleached, and deodorized copra oil, and virgin coconut oil. The latter is produced from the fresh endosperm of coconuts through the wet extraction process, while the former is made from the dried endosperm of the coconut through dry extraction. The refined coconut oil and the virgin coconut oil both have the same fatty acids and triglycerides profile, but the virgin coconut oil has a higher vitamin E content, sterols, polyphenols, and other bioactive compounds. Pardon me. Coconut oil contains 48% lauric acid, which is a fatty acid responsible for most of the benefits of coconut oil. The benefits of coconut oil are at par with that of human milk because of the lipids. These only become antiviral or antimicrobial after the infant digests the milk, where the full fatty acids and monoglycerides are released from the milk triglycerides by lipolytic activity. In the case of coconut oil, the body converts the triglycerides into lauric acid, which turns into monolaurin as it gets further metabolized. About 6% of the coconut oil gets metabolized and becomes monoglycerides in the body. Numerous studies show that coconut oil has antimicrobial properties, attributing this to its metabolites, namely lauric acid, capric acid, and monolaurin. The effectiveness of lauric acid is better than other fatty acids, while monolaurin is found to be better than lauric acid. These metabolites are shown to be a safe and effective immunomodulatory agent in the immune system. According to the study of Heyerholzer and Cabra, monolaurin can reduce the infectivity of RNA and DNA when viruses attack them. It acts by disintegrating the virus that envelops the RNA and DNA. Some studies suggest that both lauric acid and monolaurin inhibit the growth of Staphylococcus aureus with destructive mechanisms. Virgin coconut oil metabolites produce highly ordered membranes thought to disrupt the cellular function of the pathogen by affecting signal transduction because of the altered amino acid uptake, altered respiration state, blockage of promoters, and uncoupling of energy systems. So all of that happens at the cells that we don't, the virus cells. Lauric acid in coconut oil also prevents the binding of membrane proteins to the host cell membrane, which inhibits the production of infectious virus. So how do you use coconut oil? Well, coconut oil has been considered healthy by several communities across the world for centuries. Today, it's actively being recognized for achieving the following health benefits. It improves your heart health, aids in weight loss, strengthens the immune system, boosts the metabolism, promotes hair and skin health, helps thyroid function, treats Alzheimer's disease and diabetes, and relieves chronic fatigue. The great thing about coconut oil is it is super easy to use. You can rub it on your skin or in your hair, apply it topically to wounds and burns, swish it around in your mouth for oral infections, and of course, drink it or add it to different foods and beverages. Not only does it help fight off infections in a natural way, but it can treat many types of infections as well. So if you want to use it on a daily basis, there are some ideas. Add coconut oil to your morning coffee or tea or smoothie. Start making muffins with a little coconut oil. Use it on your skin if you get chronic skin infections. Try coconut oil pulling to help with oral infections. I like to use Jiva's, it's Jeeva, Jiva's extra virgin organic coconut oil. All right. Golden Seal is one of the 5 top-selling herbal supplements in the USA. The pharmacologic activity of Golden Seal has not been fully researched. Its popularity continues to grow. According to the Appalachian Plant Monograph, Golden Seal has been used for over 200 years by Native Americans. Oops. Sorry. There we go. Golden Seal comes from a small perennial herb from the buttercup family. And that family is Ranunculaceae, and it is native to southwestern Canada and the eastern United States. It is a bright yellow rhizome and roots that were used as a dye by Native Americans. In 1760, Golden Seal was first introduced under the name Warnera, after Richard Warner, the man who first brought it to the British Isles. It wasn't until 1926 that Golden Seal was included in the United States Pharmacopoeia. The historical use of Golden Seal has been to treat colds, upper respiratory infection, and gastrointestinal disorders, including diarrhea and urinary tract infections. In the US, Golden Seal is mostly commercially found combined with echinacea as an upper respiratory treatment because Golden Seal is said to enhance the effect of echinacea. This has not been scientifically proven. The worldwide spread of bacterial infections and prescription drug resistance is of major health concern to everyone. Many health organizations are evaluating resistances. The European Antimicrobial Surveillance System is one such organization and estimates that as many as 53 million people worldwide are colonized by multi-drug resistant bacteria. Among the most prevalent and lethal of these is Staphylococcus aureus. According to the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, about 25,000 patients die in the EU each year from infection with selected multi-drug resistant bacteria. The introduction of antibiotics 70 years ago led to a revolution in the management of bacterial infections. Because of the growing resistance against antibiotics, we are now facing a future without effective antibiotics against dangerous and even deadly bacterial invasion. So the big question is, can herbal medicines be used against these dangerous bacterial infections? Researchers believe that Golden Seal, a natural, cost-effective, highly available, and safe herbal medicine, could be an effective treatment against bacterial infections. The most well-known and most researched active constituent of Golden Seal are its 2 major alkaloids, berberine and hydrostine, which are suspected to be responsible for its antibacterial effect. So how do you use Golden Seal? Since there are no published clinical human trials documenting the safe and effective use of Golden Seal, one popular monograph, the ABC Clinical Guide to Herbs, has refrained from suggesting any primary uses. It's also stated that it can take up to a week of use for the benefits to appear. Still, golden seal can provide health benefits, like as an antibacterial eye support. Golden seal is a common ingredient in herbal eye washes to help with itchiness from seasonal allergies or discomfort from eye infections. However, this claim is not yet proven in medical studies. One study showed that using high amounts of berberine, one of the antimicrobial or bacterial killing components of golden seal, may damage the cells on the surface of the eye lens. Most preparations of golden seal for the eyes use safer amounts, but users should still be careful, especially when in direct sunlight. Studies show that taking golden seal orally does not have this effect on the eyes. Did you have a question, Sandy? No.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
You know, I move around and
oh, that's okay. I just want to make
you know,
sure.
it does. Thanks. No, I'm okay. Thanks.
Sure. Traditionally, herbal medicine practitioners use golden seal paired with other herbs like echinacea, myrrh, and St. John's wort to help symptoms of herpes outbreaks. They believe that golden seal helps herpes heal faster. However, any evidence of this is not yet proved by medical or scientific studies. And I point this out because I want to bring balance to both sides to let you know there are these proven uses by people who are using it. It just may not have been proven in a lab, and so I want to make sure everybody knows this. Let's see, as golden seal has generally antimicrobial properties, studies show that it's useful in treating microbial or bacterial diarrhea and gastritis. A review of several studies on over 3,900 people showed better outcomes when researchers gave participants berberine with antibiotics for infectious diarrhea versus just the antibiotics alone. Additionally, when only berberine was given, hospitalizations for diarrhea were shorter. This study also showed no serious negative effects from using berberine in this manner. However, more research is needed to prove its effectiveness and safety. The component berberine may prevent bacteria from sticking to the lining of the urethra and bladder, so you're preventing urinary tract infections. However, as with several other claims about golden seal, more thorough study is needed to be sure. Two of the alkaloids in golden seal, berberine and hydrostine, seem to support immune function. They are antimicrobial in that they kill bacteria, and they may even slow the growth of tumors. These compounds may also reduce inflammation, which further explains how they may help with digestive discomfort and symptoms of the common cold, like sore throat. However, more study is needed to find out how it works and the proper method and dosage for most effective immune support. So where do you get golden seal? Well, first of all, there's no recommended dosage for golden seal, and it is available in tinctures, capsules, powders, extracts, and tea. So follow the dosing guideline that's on the packaging of the golden seal product you're using. When you buy golden seal, make certain it's from a cultivated organic source, not wild crafted. Golden seal is one of the most endangered medicinal herbs. If wild crafting continues, golden seal and all its wonderful benefits will disappear from the planet. It's a great idea to grow some golden seal in your own yard. It prefers shade and rich, well-drained soil. The roots and leaves of golden seal make teas, herbal extracts, and capsules. The tincture is incredibly bitter, so you might not take it willingly. For the dried powder, you use about a teaspoon per 20 pounds of your weight. As a tea, 1 teaspoon of golden seal in a cup of water, and then you give a quarter cup per 20 pounds per day. As a tincture, give 5 to 10 drops per 20 pounds, 2 to 3 times per day. A poultice, make a poultice for 1 to 2 teaspoons of powdered root and apply golden seal to dress any wounds or ulcers, skin ulcers. As an eye wash, you can make a tea from the dry root by simmering it in water for 10 minutes, then allow it to cool to room temperature. And then next you'd apply it directly with a compress, or add 10 to 20 drops to a saline solution and apply a few drops in the eye 2 or 3 times a day. With so many benefits, golden seal is an herb you should always have on hand for short-term issues and first aid emergencies. The warning with this is it's recommended that golden seal not be used long-term or in high dosages. There is evidence of liver cancer and should not be used during pregnancy and lactation. Cinnamon is one of the world's oldest and most common spices, but cinnamon isn't just any ordinary spice, as you may have guessed. Science has shown that cinnamon can fight off a wide range of dangerous bacterial and fungal infections. For example, one study found that cinnamon inhibits the growth and mycotoxin production of certain fungi. This is just kind of a highbrow way of saying cinnamon kills off fungal infections and stops it from making compounds that cause disease or tissue damage. Cinnamon is also well known for its countless medicinal benefits, including its ability to treat acne caused by bacteria, oral infections and bad breath, gut discomfort, and hemorrhaging. There's really nothing bad to say about cinnamon. It's delicious and loaded with health benefits. So how do you use it? It's an internal immune booster with the powder. You can have an external with the oil, namely as your fungal infections like Candida or athlete's foot, and it's best used in combination with other natural antibiotics. The way I use cinnamon to treat infections, it first of all largely depends on where the infection is. So if I have a skin infection, I use a few drops of you want a high quality Ceylon cinnamon oil. I combine it with Manuka honey and kind of lather it on the infected area. And this works really great because it's kind of a wombo combo of 2 different natural antibiotics. For internal infections, so for things like the cold or flu, I combine a high quality organic, again, Ceylon cinnamon powder with Manuka honey, or just if you can't get Manuka honey, use regular raw but organic honey. I use this combo twice a day when I notice people in my family are getting the cold or flu. And this usually helps prevent me from getting sick, or at the very least, it significantly decreases the length of my colds. So whether you're using cinnamon as a spice or medicine, you need to make sure it's organic Ceylon cinnamon. The most common form of cinnamon you find in stores is cassia, and it has high levels of coumarin, which is a toxin that can cause liver damage for certain people. So if you can't find a quality source of organic Ceylon cinnamon locally, I would suggest finding a source online, such as from HealthWorks. I know, fermented foods don't directly have antibiotic effects, but fermented foods are extremely important for a strong immune system, among many other things. You see, fermented foods like sauerkraut or kombucha contain healthy bacteria. So when we eat fermented food, it boosts and preserves the beneficial bacteria in our gut, and that's called our gut flora. Our gut flora is destroyed by the pesticides in our food, antibiotics, alcohol, and NSAIDs, drugs like aspirin. That's why our gut needs to get an extra dose of healthy bacteria to stay healthy and function properly. But how does this relate to our immune system? It's estimated that up to 70% of our immune system is found in the gut. So when our gut flora is imbalanced, and believe me, it is for most of us, our immune system becomes weak. As a result, we get sick much easier and we're more prone to autoimmune diseases like psoriasis. Not only does it make sense, scientific studies have also validated the importance of fermented foods. A scientific review by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, for example, explored the evidence of how bacteria in the gut is essential for a strong immune system. They went on to explain, and here's a quote, probiotic bacteria are shown to promote the endogenous host defense mechanisms and stimulate nonspecific host resistance to microbial pathogens, end quote. This is just a nerdy way of saying healthy bacteria can improve your body's ability to fight off infection. And fermented foods are hands down the best source of healthy bacteria you can get. So, how do you use it? The primary use is to support a healthy immune system. Again, this one is pretty straightforward. Just aim to consume 2 to 3 different fermented foods every day to give your immune system a significant boost. Some of the most popular fermented foods include kombucha, which can be a great substitute for soda. I personally can't drink it. I'm a lightweight and I get tipsy off it. Sauerkraut and kimchi, kefir, I like coconut water kefir, fermented grains like real sourdough, miso, and you can make it yourself using lactofermentation. It's a relatively simple process that takes 4 to 7 days. You can ferment basically anything, and it's surprisingly tasty. Otherwise, where do you get it? Well, you can buy fermented food in most grocery stores now. When I don't have time to make it myself, I will usually buy the kimchi, sauerkraut, or yeah, those two I buy at the store. The rest I have to order online. If you can't get a hold of or don't have time to make fermented foods, the next best option is taking a high quality probiotic supplement. Probiotics aren't as ideal because they don't provide a broad spectrum of healthy bacteria like fermented foods do, because that's what your gut needs. To get the best of both worlds, I eat fermented foods and take a probiotic as a form of insurance. But not all probiotics out there are beneficial. And to be honest, most of them out there are not very good. In the past, I spent a lot of time sifting through the different brands. I'm currently taking mine through my Viome supplements. But one of the best probiotic brands that I find for my clients who don't take the Viome supplements, it's called Primal Defense by Garden of Life. All right, I think this is the last one. Pau d'Arco. Pau d'Arco is medicinal tree bark from the rainforests of South America. It's thought to help with a wide range of health complications such as chronic inflammation, pain, fevers, candida overgrowth, and ulcers. And of course, some evidence suggests that Pau d'Arco is effective at fighting viral, fungal, and bacterial infections. Scientists believe a compound called beta-lactone is responsible for Pau d'Arco's antimicrobial effects. Evidence suggests beta-lactone prevents viruses from replicating, and it kills bacteria by inhibiting cellular respiration. Pau d'Arco is also thought to be one of the best herbs to fight against candida overgrowth in the gut. Some even claim that Pau d'Arco can reduce sugar cravings by fighting the candida overgrowth. While Pau d'Arco has compounds that may help with infections, there ultimately needs to be more studies to be sure of this. So how do you use it? The primary use for Pau d'Arco is fighting fungal infections like Candida in the gut. Pau d'Arco can be used externally with a tincture or internally with tablets. Some people don't tolerate it well and get nauseous with larger doses, kind of like you were talking, Sandy. It just could be that reaction to the parasites. So if you're one of these people, just keep it for skin or oral infections because you can just spit it out. People also seem to have a lot of success with using Pau d'Arco for oral candida, like thrush, skin conditions, and sore throats. It is not recommended for children or infants, and it can negatively interact with blood thinner medications. And as always, consult a healthcare practitioner before trying any of these natural alternatives. So where do you get Pau d'Arco? According to the University of Maryland Medical Center, you can get Pau d'Arco in tablet, tea, or tincture form. But it's best to stay away from the teas since the chemicals that give Pau d'Arco its medicinal effects don't dissolve in water. In other words, Pau d'Arco is a waste of your money if you're getting it as a tea. So you're left with a tincture or tablets. With these, you can just follow the instructions on the packaging. I did some research and the brand Herb Farm seems to have the best product out there. It's not perfect, but it's the best option for a tincture I could find. So replenishing your good bacteria no matter what. Sometimes even natural antibiotics can kill off beneficial bacteria, particularly the stronger ones. And since there's so many things we're exposed to every day that kills off our gut flora, it's important to constantly replenish the healthy bacteria. This is best achieved through eating fermented foods at least 2 to 3 times a day. As a form of insurance, you can also take a high quality probiotic. Here are some natural antibiotics to avoid. Grapefruit seed extract. This is an alternative that it actually works considerably well, but there's a big issue. Grapefruit seed extract, you really want to be careful of the kind you get. It can contain harmful chemicals or additives like benzalkonium chloride and triclosan. They're synthetic preservatives. These preservatives are thought to be the real reason why grapefruit seed extract has antibiotic effects. And then standard store-bought honey. There's a serious lack of regulation on honey products that aren't raw. This means a large percentage of quote unquote honey on the shelves contains things like heavy metals, antibiotics, and filler sweeteners such as corn syrup. The point is store-bought honey can cause damage to your health and it will not fight infections. I wanted to show how this also works with us on an energetic level with our chakras and so forth. The gold standard for the diagnosis of a urinary, and this is just an example of a urinary tract infection. And part of the reason why is because I used to have recurrent UTIs. I mean, it was awful. It seemed like for 3 months at one time, I was always having a UTI. So I knew a little bit more about this. And so, like I said, the gold standard for the diagnosis of a urinary tract infection is the detection of the pathogen in the presence of clinical symptoms. Any uncomplicated UTI is one that occurs in a healthy host in the absence of structural or functional abnormalities of the urinary tract. A recurrent uncomplicated UTI may be defined as 3 or more uncomplicated UTIs in 12 months. In traditional Chinese medicine, the physiopathology of the disease is kidney yin deficiency, blood deficiency, and heat retention. So there was a study that was done, and the results are from October of 2020, so it's fairly recent. The purpose for the study was to demonstrate that patients with recurrent urinary tract infection resistant to antibiotic treatment have energy imbalances and chakra energy deficiencies that are maintaining the infectious process in the energy point of view. And the corrections of these energy imbalances are very important to treat the root problem and not just the symptoms. So what they did through 2 case reports, there were two patients that were women with a history, because men can get UTIs, with a history of 20 years of recurrent urinary tract infection that was not responding to the treatment using antibiotics. They searched for another kind of treatment, and the medical doctor diagnosed them with kidney yin and yang deficiency, blood deficiency, and heat retention. They were submitted to what's called radiesthesia procedure. This is that ability to detect radiation emitted by a person. So it's not from a machine or something. Some people are just able to do this. And they discovered that all their chakras were in the minimum level. So in other words, that's 1 out of 8. All these people, their chakra energies were they couldn't go any lower. The treatment consisted in a Chinese dietary counseling, auricular acupuncture, so that's acupuncture of the ear, with apex and bladder ear bloodletting, and replenishment of the chakra energy using homeopathy according to the theory of constitutional homeopathy of the 5 elements based on traditional Chinese medicine and crystal-based medications. The result was the treatment done. After the treatment was done, both patients improved their condition of recurrent urinary tract infections, and they never appeared again. But which is probably good. They're still in treatment because they're keeping it up. But the fact that after 20 years, they're not having anything anymore is a blessing. So the conclusion is of this study is that patients with recurrent urinary tract infection resistant to antibiotic treatment had energy alterations and chakra energy deficiencies, and the rebalance of the internal energy using Chinese dietary counseling, auricular acupuncture with apex and urethra ear bloodletting, and replenishment of that chakra energy deficiency with highly diluted medications according to the theory of constitutional homeopathy of 5 elements based on traditional Chinese medicine and then crystal-based medications. They were important tools to cure the recurrence of this kind of infection. So the bottom line is there's no denying that drug-based antibiotics are tremendously overprescribed. This misuse of antibiotics has led to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria and an unfathomable amount of damage to people's guts. While prescription antibiotics do or may have their place, it's not always necessary to use them. And instead, it's perfectly reasonable to use natural alternatives like manuka honey and garlic oil. So taking the natural approach will help prevent antibiotic-resistant superbugs from developing. And most importantly, it will save your gut from a lot of unnecessary damage that can lead to serious diseases down the road. And so if you're ready to explore the world of natural antibiotics and other ways to keep yourself in health, you can schedule some time to discover more about your goals along with possible steps you could take towards them. You can contact me at lynn@feedingyourhealth.com, or if you go to my website, on the bottom of the page, you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation. Oh, there you go. All right. So I know that was long, but hopefully you got some good use out of it. You learned some things. When you get the recording, you can go forward, backwards, stop, make notes, whatever you want to do with it. Do you have any other questions that I can help you with?
Yes.
All right.
Funny how it unmutes itself. I didn't even unmute it and it was unmuted. So I'm glad you talked about Manuka honey a lot, because that's one thing I didn't know. I
Okay.
knew it was expensive and I knew it was good healing, but I didn't know, all that other stuff. Now, I know you said we need to get a good brand.
Yeah.
Oh, you did you gave us the brand of Manuka Health.
Mhm.
And where do we get it online?
So let me go back. You can get it on Amazon, but I prefer not to.
I prefer
Yeah.
not if
Yeah.
you have something else.
Yeah. So if you just you'll Google, let's see, what's the name of that again here? Yeah, just Manuka Health. So if you just go to here, I'll go there myself right now just to make sure, because that is where I got mine, but I've had it for a little bit. Yeah, you can just order it directly online. It's manukahealth.co.nz and buy it directly from them, because that's what I do. Oh, I should share my screen, my video again. So that was a great question.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're muted again in case you were going to ask me another question. There you go. Now you're unmuted.
Yeah. Well, is it Manuka? Because I missed for a minute. ManukaHealth.com
It's dot,
or
yeah,
NZ
it's .co.nz.
.nz or
So
V?
it's Z as in Zealand. So it's manukahealth.co.nz.
N is New Zealand. Okay.
Yep.
.co.
And
Okay. Okay. And then let's see. The other question I had is medicine flowers would not be that kind of oregano oil. Is that correct?
say that again.
Medicine flowers is not that kind of oregano.
No, medicine flower is
oil.
different. Yeah, I like medicine flower. I have some of those on hand here, but it's different. So the oregano oil that I got is from plant therapy.
Okay. Right. I will look that one up too.
Well, it's important to understand the kind you get, because it needs to be organic.
And you so kind of, I only get organic.
I do my best.
Once in a while we can't, I know.
Yeah.
But you've done the research on a lot of this, so I really do appreciate that.
You bet.
You're looking great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? That was it?
That's it.
Excellent. Well, you know how to reach out to me if you have any other questions. I'm going to stop the recording. I actually had a question for you.
Okay.
I had sent an email to Steph about a a bacteria that I noticed in one of my clients' stool results, and I'd never heard of it, and there's not much available on it. But I haven't heard anything back from her, and it's been over a week. And I thought, well, I don't know when you're going to see
Not till end of the month, but
well,
I also emailed her and haven't heard from her. And
okay.
I will, so when I talk to her, hear from her, I'll tell her. Did you do the Steph Johnson? Jackson?
Yep, at stephjackson.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I emailed her a week or so before that one, she did get right back to me.
Well,
but it was a situation on the website. So
okay.
I don't know. Can you still get on her website? Okay.
I can, I can when
Okay.
I go on.
Okay,
focus,
because
my focus has just been this cleaning the house with the fleas and keeping
Oh,
myself
yeah.
in order.
oh yeah,
So
definitely.